Hey guys, it is day 8 of our 21 days meditation challenge. Um, if you're on YouTube and you haven't joined us, look at the link inside the comments if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're watching in our group, Your Spiritual Awakening community on Facebook, say hi. If you haven't joined that community yet, I highly recommend it. There's tons of us amazing people in there. Today, I want to share with you guys my personal meditation practice for day 8 of 21 of meditation challenge. I know I didn't really say when I was going to go live today, and I'll post a schedule for our meditation challenge later today because we have some amazing guests coming in this week. But for today's challenge video, I'm sharing my personal meditation practice. So the first thing I do when I'm about to meditate is I set my intention. There's different reasons why I want to meditate. A lot of times it's just to get grounded, plug in, tap into spirit, and just like cleanse my field, my energy field. But sometimes it's to calm my tits. Sometimes it's to calm down. Sometimes I would do a meditation before I'd have a session, and I would be wanting that person's spirit guides and angels and loved ones to be there with me during that meditation, just to get a stronger connection when I did a session with somebody. But for the most part, I set my intention where I'm inviting my spirit guides, my angels, and my past loved ones in love and light only to be with me and then I say my intention. So I'm inviting all the people, and then I'm saying to be with me so maybe I'm going to be cutting cords that day. Maybe I'm asking Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael to come in and cleanse my energy field. So I'm setting my intention, right? The next thing is I make sure that I'm sitting up sort of straight. Sometimes I lean a little bit forward. Have your feet on the ground. Don't have your arms crossed or anything along those lines. And then what I do is I sit on the edge of my bed, or I could sit on the edge of the couch, because when I'm like leaning in, you get really super comfortable, like just leaning a little bit. And you'll notice if you start getting really deep into your practice, you might notice yourself start to sway, and almost as if you're a pendulum. And this is kind of a natural thing that will happen once you get deeper into your meditative practice. But for all of you guys that are beginning, I always tell people, really, the main thing that you want to do during your practice is to focus on your breath, right? So we set our intention. We're sitting on the edge of our bed. We're leaning a little bit forward. And now we're going to close our eyes, right? We had another video about leaving your eyes open. If you need to leave your eyes open so that you have like less mind chatter, you could do that as well. But for me, I close my eyes and then I just start breathing. I'm breathing in once and I'm breathing out once. And I'm aware of how my face feels. I ask myself, what is it like to look behind your closed eyes? Becoming really aware of myself and my body and where I'm at. So like we're getting into our body. And then we're breathing in once and we're breathing out once. And then we're breathing in twice and we're breathing out twice. It's totally freaking normal for you to start thinking about what's for lunch. We talked about this in another video. It's totally normal for you to get stuck on, number 3. And maybe you're like, well, shit, how many breaths have I taken in? It's okay. Just go back to the practice. Really what you're wanting, or what I do in this practice, is I'm breathing in and then I'm breathing out. And then I'm just aware of if thoughts start coming. I imagine the thoughts with like a retaining wall, right? I imagine that all these thoughts are on this side of the wall. But as I'm breathing in and breathing out, eventually some of the thoughts build up, right? Because that's the stress on your nervous system. Some of the thoughts build up and I imagine that they start pouring over the retaining wall. This is when it's like, okay, back to the breath. I'm breathing in once, I'm breathing out twice. And then I'm aware that there's no thoughts there for a minute, right? I'm aware that there's no thoughts. I'm not thinking about that there's no thoughts, just aware. And then they slowly will build up again. And when you're doing this practice, right, the breathing in and the breathing out, you're going to finally get to this point where you're like, it's kind of natural. And you're going to get to this place where all of a sudden you might feel bliss. Like you might have, I call it the sweet spot. All of a sudden you might feel like, oh my God, I'm plugged in and holy hell, that felt really good. And then it's gone like that because your awareness moved to the fact that you felt bliss. And then your mind wants to take over. It's like, oh my God, what was that? How come I felt so good? Right? How come I felt amazing right then? And so then you might lose it. but you could just go back. And eventually you're going to have larger chunks of this blissed out feeling, larger chunks of purely like I'm safe, I'm comfortable, you're not thinking about your bills, you're not thinking about lunch, you're not thinking about your life purpose, you're not thinking about your kids. You're in this place. It's the safest freaking space ever. And one of the things that's changed my life was meditation, because you're in this safe space and you're creating a larger and larger space for this like safety, comfort, blissed out feeling. And then that, guess what that means? That means you're not resisting the universe. That means you're not trying to control anything at that moment. The more time you get to spend in this blissed out place, the easier it's going to be for you to manifest so much more amazing things. And the more your perception is going to change about the world around you, and you're going to stop responding and reacting as much, and you're going to start becoming more aware of your emotions when you do get triggered. And that's when, if you all of a sudden feel like you're going to have road rage or something, that's when you get to practice your meditation practice again. But you're going to start realizing how much nicer you are and how much other people's bullshit doesn't bother you anymore. That you're just like, that belongs to them. It doesn't belong to me. I don't have to own that anymore. So I hope you guys like this little tip. We have, like I said, some amazing guests coming in. We also have the doors open to the Craving Consciousness community. You guys, those doors close tomorrow night. We have a massive amount of guest experts coming into there. If you guys have just barely enjoyed this meditation challenge so far, this is just an itsy-weetsy tip of the iceberg of the trainings that we'll be providing inside the Craving Consciousness community, and of some of the experts that are going to be coming in. And so hopefully you guys notice the high quality of the guest experts that I've been bringing in for this free event. And then imagine having full on trainings with them inside this Craving Consciousness community with me as your coach. So I'm sending you guys all love. I'll drop the link to that as well in the comments, and get your on. Share how you guys are doing with your practice. Let me know what you guys thought about this little training today. And I will see you guys tomorrow.